So, welcome to the podcast, John Do. How are you, John? Are you well?
I'm very well. How's yourself, Rab?
The best, mate. And if anything, you've surprised us all with this album. We're going to talk about this Mackerel Sky. It really just seems to have come out of the blue. This is the follow-up then to High Bridge Walk, is it?
Kind of, yeah. It's just, it was just the Hybrid Walk was an EP, and then I just wanted to do another thing like it. But yeah, I suppose it's a follow on from that. But yeah, it's an album length. EP is like maybe half an hour. This one's close to an hour, so it's just a longer piece of work, I suppose.
Oh, Matt, we'll get into the whole nuts and bolts of the album, which I've luckily now had a listen to, and it's fantastic. But first of all, John, just wanted to catch up with yourself. How have you been, man, since we've been last chatting to you?
Yeah, I've been good, man. I mean, I've really been missing the bands, for sure, missing all the camaraderie, and we had a couple of Zoom calls with the band over the winter, so that was really good. And then I've been doing a lot of online competitions as well, and that just kind of kept the playing going. It's interesting. I kind of got the bug for it the same way that I got the bug for the games. It's a really weird thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, recently been very well with all this good weather. It makes such a difference. And now that the pubs are opening up a wee bit more, and we can go see people from other districts. Yeah, it's just everything's kind of starting to look a bit brighter all around, which is great.
Thank goodness too. Yeah, but I was going to ask you about the solo competitions and stuff. You've been really quite active in the online solo scene, and really quite successful, if you don't mind me saying so as well. So how do you find competing online, John, compared to competing in person?
I think for the individual, it's trickier because you miss one grace note or a double, and you go, "Oh, I'm going to do that MSR again."
Yeah.
And so you end up spending an hour on an MSR. So that in that way, it's trickier. But the good thing about the live thing is that you've only got the one chance. You've got to submit whatever. You've got to go with whatever you've played, and you can't change it. So for the individual who's a perfectionist, it is trickier for sure.
You could play the one set like 50 times over, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. And people have. I've had mates text me being like, "I've been playing the pipes for 8 hours." I'm like,
"Oh no,
oh no, it's such a shame." And you feel for them, but they're total perfectionists. So that's why it's trickier. But there's one or two that I did that are like semi-live. So you put the recording device on, and then a steward watches you over Zoom and makes sure you only do one take.
Right. Yes.
And that was nerve-wracking. That was really nerve-wracking. And you do actually feel, you don't feel anywhere, the pre-recorded thing, you don't feel anywhere near as alive as you do in person.
That's it. Yeah, the adrenaline and that all going and everything. No, fantastic.
Yeah, mad.
I dare say once things go back to in person, it'll become the new normal, and we'll get used to that adrenaline rush again, one and done.
Yeah. I think that's why a lot of people do it. It is the adrenaline that we kind of seek a wee bit. It's like, I'm 20 minutes into this P-break. Am I going to break down?
Yeah.
No, okay, hold on.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, you do get a total rush from doing the live thing. But yeah, the online thing is still I still think it's a great avenue to go down for performance.
Yeah, definitely. John, can I ask you then, obviously you've been working hard with the guys at the Up to the Line Pipe Band podcast this last while. How have you found things working with Stephen and the guys?
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, it's a really, really good group of guys. Like, we don't take each other too seriously. We get the job done, but we don't take each other too seriously. Like, I just wish there's a team of 6, I think, 5 or 6, and I just wish we could all just go to the pub every weekend and just blather. But yeah, it's been really good. It's been really exciting. It's so interesting chatting to all these various people. We had like a podcast episode either coming up or it's in the pipeline of young teachers who are new to teaching in schools, and then women in piping, and it's just so interesting. You just get loads of gems of information that you never get before. It's hugely beneficial, and to be at the forefront of that, like literally receiving it first and then sharing it out, it's just such a privilege, So I'm working with the guys. They're all great. They're awesome crack. Really, really good. So
Yeah.
I've loved it. Really, really enjoyed it, and hopefully we can just continue the good work.
Fantastic, John. And I've been a bit of a fan. I think you might know that. I'm a huge fan of the Up to the Line pod.
Yeah.
So if anyone listening to this hasn't listened to it yet, do yourself a favor, go and check it out. There's some incredible interviews there. Quite an awesome podcast. John, the reason we got you on the show to begin with is to talk about Mackerel Sky. Brand new album, 13 tracks, 12, 13 tracks. Yeah. And
13, yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, man, I think my description of this album, to kind of best describe it, 'cause I've kind of listened to it now in its entirety, layers is the word I want to use. There's like so many different layers, not for just one single, for every track. It seems to be that there's melody upon melody upon melody, and then they all interlink. Is that how you kind of tackled this album?
Yeah, that was the main thing. I mean, there's a couple of tracks that are just tune and accompaniment, but yeah, the whole idea is the layering process, and it's one of those things where I did at school. I did A level music, which was very classical orientated, and so that was one of the compositional styles of layering. So there's minimalism, but there's also polyphony, and we studied a lot of polyphony at school, and I just love it because you're following one line and then you see something else, or you hear something else, and layer upon layer, and you hear all these different things moving in and around, and it's creating this tension and release. And I've always loved it. I've always loved harmony, and it's one of those things. Being a piper, a lot of what we do is tune, and we maybe add a harmony line, or in the pipe band medleys, you maybe got 3 lines of harmony, maybe even 4 in a slow air or something. And that's always my favorite part of the medley, is when you hear all those layers. And there's various suites that have been written in the past that are layered up, and I just wanted to explore that because I just wanted to explore that more. It can be done more. So that was the whole point of it. And again, just getting all those layers and getting them all to move in and around each other rather than just kind of like static like that. It is meant to be polyphonic, so that's what I was aiming for. So that was the premise of the album, and then I kind of wrote the first first couple of tracks first, and then I kind of based the rest of the album on those ideas.
I see.
That was the whole premise, was the layering thing.
The album, honestly, it kind of blew me away, John. I had heard Highbridge Walk, and the tracks on there are fantastic. I've been playing them on Fuse now for a long time. But this album,
thanks very much.
It's difficult to pick out an individual track to play on the radio. You haven't made it easy for folks like me, because the album works.
Sorry about that.
It works all the way from the prelude all the way through to the end. And it's like a musical journey. And if you pick one track out of it, it's like you're lifting a little bit out of it. You know what I mean? Is that another way that you kind of tackled it?
Much, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So Ross Ainsley's last 2 albums did that absolutely seamlessly. And I think it's one of those things, that's what makes a good album, is you listen to the start to the end, and you pick out one thing from it and it just doesn't work, or it works as an individual thing to listen to as a single, but it's so much better in a continuous arc. That was a big aim, to try and just get it all to link from start to finish. That was all the best albums do that. All the best albums do that, for sure.
I think you have definitely accomplished that, John. Yeah, for sure. So this album then, Mackerel Sky, folks, for those of you interested in listening to this, it's available from the 27th of August. And will you be having any sort of a launch event or anything, John, to kick off the album? Or?
Well, nothing properly. I did kind of have a debate with the guys to say, should we do this, should we do that? And then we've come up with the idea of something. So something is going to happen. Keep an eye out on the Facebook page.
There you go.
Not nothing. Something's coming. Just keep an eye out. And we're going to try and do something just to build up to the launch date of the 27th is what we're going to do.
Perfect. I love that. Play your cards close to your chest, John. Yeah. Can I tell you then, there's a couple of tracks on there that's been particular highlights of my own. For anyone who's interested in getting this album, whenever you do, have a listen for these two tracks. One's called Merlin's Leap, which I just think is a thumping great track, man. I just love that tune. Can you tell me the story behind Merlin's Leap?
Okay, so we were in France on a me, my girlfriend, and another mate of mine formed a wee trio, and we were playing at a gig in France, and the place that we were staying had a pool, and then the groundsman of the place we were staying at, he had a dog called Merlin, just let run around the grounds, and we were in the pool, and this dog called Merlin, I just kind of like looked up from out of the pool. 1 minute he was there. Then I turned around the next minute, he's jumped over my head and landed in the pool. I was like, oh, there's flying dogs everywhere. So, yeah, I thought that was just hilarious. So I wrote that tune and it was like Merlin's Leap. So
there you go. That's a proper good tune title there. And the next one that we've actually previewed this on Fuse this week. For those of you who were listening on the 27th, just yesterday, we played Sunday afternoon in Rattray. And I have to say the reaction, John, something serious. A lot of folks were interested in this. So do you want to tell us about the title? Where did it come from?
Okay, so that was Highland Games in Blairgowrie, run by the piping is run by Murray Henderson, and it's towards the end of the piping season, and it's a fantastic games to play at if you're a piper. Really, really good. So that was on a Sunday, and we had our 2019, we had our post-Worlds party in Inverary. And so that was Saturday night, and then we all went down to Glasgow. Like, we had the party in Inverary, got down to Glasgow, and then some of us woke up quite tired from the night before, and we had to go and play at the games at Rattray, and it's just the tune kind of just explores all the kind of emotions of playing at a games, like all the kind of, you get excited but then nervous, and then the emotions kind of go up and down, and then you kind of got to be like, right, settle down because it's a Peebrich. So it was written for that particular day, Sunday afternoon, at Rattray Games. Feeling quite tired, emotions all over the place. That's what that was about.
Perfect. And you can hear that coming across in the music, John, like you just described it there. Yeah, definitely. So I have to say, John, this album, honestly, you don't get the full appreciation on the first listen through. I have listened through it the first time round. I thought, there's so much to unpack here. I need to listen again. And yes, I'm glad I did. 2-3 times through. And now I love it. It's stuck in my CD player and it won't come out now for a bit. So, yeah, I have to say, for folks who are interested in getting this, listen through it a few times to appreciate all the layers and stuff. And John, I'm a huge fan of this, man, and I wish you every success with the album.
Thanks so much.